This is What If Deku Was Daredevil, Part 2. Where we last left off, Deku had just finished up, the entrance exam, and he got home to, his dad Foggy, and, he met Karen Page, but, really didn't spend all that much time together with him. He just really tired and emotionally frustrated. So he heads on off to bed pretty early. Day done. Next day rolls around. Deku's deciding he wakes up early. It's like 4 in the morning. Every place is still dark. The streets are dead. He decides to go for a run. But something compels him. He puts back on the DareDevil shirt. He ties up his hands in the rope. But, he does put on an overcoat. Puts his hood on. And, he goes out for a run. While he's running, he sees these guys, in an alleyway. He passes by this girl, and something just tells him, don't go too far away. And these guys, they're trying to, hit up this girl, harass her. They're touching all up on her tits, her ass, trying to get her to, go back to their room with her. And, she's telling them no, she doesn't want to. And, the guys are being kind of pushy. They're still roping up on her. She's telling them to stop and let her go. They're just like, nah, bitch, come on, let's go. And Deku, he turns around, he's walking up, and, he's like, she said, let her go. I suggest you fucking do it. And they're just like, oh, kid, this ain't none of your damn business. This is adult business. Get on somewhere. And Deku's like, look, we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. Easy way is you let her go, you get to walk and keep some of your teeth. Don't let her go, you're gonna end up with broken bones, missing teeth. It's your choice. And, they're just like, oh, who the fuck is this guy think he is? They pull out their knives on him, This girl's just like, hey kid, you shouldn't be doing this, don't worry about me, just get yourself out of here. And Deku's like, no, I got this. Dude's lunge at him with a knife. Deku just grabs this dude's arm and he breaks it. And cause compared to Elektra, these guys are slow as fuck. And Deku, he takes the fight to the alleyway, so he's not really being seen too much. And he tells the girl, just go on ahead and run. So she does. He's beating these guys senseless. Like, Deku can feel it. The rage in him is just there. And he's beating these guys. He's crushed the dude's arm, and he's just, has his arm in a lock. And Deku's just beating him in the face. Each punch, blood splatters out. And the guy's saying, enough, I give. And Deku's just not even listening. He's just beating them and beating them. Each punch, more blood goes out. The dude's just yelling, stop, please. Deku just doesn't care. He just keeps hitting them, and hitting them. And they're just so bloodied and broken by the time Deku finally realizes if he hits these guys anymore, they're gonna die. And the dude that can still talk, he's just like, who the fuck are you? And Deku gets right up in the dude's face and he tells him, I'm the devil. And he gets up and he walks off. But Deku hears these boots, walking up behind him. And next thing you know, he hears 2 gunshots go off. He turns back and looks around. There's this man dressed in all black with a military vest on with a white skull painted on it. And he's just like, Okay. Who the fuck is the gun-toting murderer? And the guy looks at me and says, I'm the Punisher. What I should be asking is who the fuck is this Daredevil wannabe? And when Deku hears the name Daredevil wannabe, he's like, who in the fuck do you think you are? And Punisher's like, someone who knew the original. And kid, you went way more brutal on these guys than the original ever did. And Deku's wanting to know answers now. So he charges Punisher. And Punisher ain't gonna fuck around with Deku. He's not gonna be so nice. And no, Punisher's fucking brutal. He flashbangs Deku. He kicks him in the stomach, knees him into the face, and puts a gun to his head. And he's like, alright kid, you're gonna start telling me what I want to know, or you're gonna have a bullet in your head. Who the fuck are you? And Deku tells him, Daredevil's son. And Punisher, he's just like, he pulls off the hood and he sees that he looks exactly like Matt Murdock. So Punisher believes Deku. He holsters his gun and he says, what the fuck are you doing out here? They outlawed vigilantes a long time ago. What you're doing now is illegal. And Deku's like, that's rich coming from the guy who just shot 2 people dead. And he's just like, those guys deserved it. They were working for the Kingpin. And Deku's like, Kingpin is here? And Punisher's like, yeah, I've been tracking him for years. He's been changing different countries, place by place, every so often. Now he's back here. Makes me wonder why. He's like, that's the only reason I'm here in this shithole. Fisk is a nuisance that crossed the line. And he's crossed it too many damn times. So I'm here to end him. And he's just like, look, I understand what you're doing. I ain't gonna tell you if it's right or wrong. That's for you to decide. I ain't your dad. I ain't your mentor, nothing like that. All I'm gonna say is, you better be damn sure ready to take the consequences of your actions. Just don't get caught and cover your damn face. And he lets Deku go and he walks off. And at this point, Deku, he's got a bloodied nose. And he is winded because Punisher, he hits fucking hard. So Deku, it's just like, how the fuck does someone like him ever work with my dad? And he's interested in the Punisher now. So Deku's about to do his research. And he knows how to find, court cases on just about anybody. So, he gets home, he cleans himself up so, Foggy doesn't really notice. The last thing he wants is his dad asking questions about how did he get so injured, what happened here, what did, all that type of shit. And so he gets on his laptop and he starts going through all the, court cases for anything Punisher related. He finds an article about a man named Frank Castle. And he reads it and he's just like, holy shit. Military training, and everything in between. The type of psychological profile that would fit someone of the Punisher's caliber. And not only that, but the face. It's a dead match. Frank Castle's the Punisher, huh? So then he starts searching everything for, Punisher and Daredevil. He finds articles that he never worked with Daredevil. He fought Daredevil. Like, him and Daredevil fought quite a bit. It's just like, huh, okay. He's pretty much figuring out that, he's just decided no way around it. He's gonna ask Foggy about it. Yeah, he goes into the kitchen. Foggy's awake, fixing himself some breakfast. He sees Deku's awake. He's like, oh, hey, you want some breakfast? And Deku's like, yeah, sure, I'll take some. But I got a question for you. Foggy's like, yeah, what is it? And Deku just straight up asks him, why did Daredevil fight Punisher? Why did my dad fight the Punisher? And, that's why Karen, she hears this and she's just like, I could answer that. And Deku's just like, by all means then, please answer it. And she's like, your dad fought Punisher a lot because, Punisher, he crossed the line that, your dad wouldn't. Your dad had the no killing rule. He never killed anyone. He would sure as hell bruise them, break their bones, and beat them, but he'd never kill them. And Deku, he's like, so Punisher was kind of like the opposite of my dad. And, Karen, she's just like, not the opposite now. They're like, what do you mean? And she's like, Punisher was pretty much a reflection of your dad if he had one seriously bad day. Your dad was always teetering on the edge of, not killing and killing. The only reason your dad didn't kill anybody is because he thought there was such a thing as redemption. And he asked, how many times did he give Kingpin a chance to be redeemed? Karen looks at Deku and she's just like, I'm not answering that question. And Deku says, don't worry, I already know the answer to it. And he asks, you really think that all these criminals are even gonna redeem? Be redeemed, find redemption? That they even care about it? And Karen says, look, it's not about whether they will or won't. It's about giving them the choice. Giving them the chance to right their wrongs and live an honest life. That's what your dad worked so hard for. And Deku's just like, yeah, alright, sure. Deku don't really feel it. He's just like, nah. But, it does fit about what was good enough for, his dad, and it does fit his dad's MO. So he does choose to believe it, but he doesn't know if he wants to believe in that same rule. And after what, Deku did this morning, he's pretty much gotten a taste for vigilantism. And I'm gonna say, pretty much every night after Foggy goes to sleep, Deku does go out and does commit, vigilante acts beating people to severity. And word is starting to get around that, there's this new guy out there who's just beating the criminals, nearly to damn death, leaving them barely alive and severely broken. Foggy hears that, and he's just having a blast from the past, from when DareDevil was first introduced. Deku, he's getting back early in the morning at this time. And Foggy just come in from, a test, from a case, and, Deku, he's spitting out blood in the sink, washing his mouth out, trying to make sure his wounds ain't too bad on his face so Foggy can't tell, and doctor the ones that's underneath his shirt, taking off the rope and throwing it away. And, Foggy ain't stupid. He dealt with all of DareDevil's bullshit, so he really ain't about to be dealing with all that shit from Deku. And he's just like, look, I know you're doing what your dad was, and you need to stop it. He's like, there's a system to this now. He's like, I'm not going to stop you from becoming a daredevil, but I'm not going to have you being a vigilante. If you want to be a hero, you're going to have to go through the proper channels. This is the last time I'm going to warn you. Don't let it happen again. He's like, I went through this with your dad, I'm not going through it with you. And Deku, he's like, fine. Foggy, he sees how Deku's all cut up, bleeding from his mouth, and all he can see is Matt Murdock after a night of being Daredevil. Karen, she's still hanging around there because, she is trying to, get more information on, the future heroes for her story back in America. And she sees Deku and she's just like, my God. And, Foggy's just like, yeah. Guess it runs in the family. And, Karen, she's just like, yeah. Must be. Deku, he's like, look, this is the only way I know how to make these people afraid. Kingpin's back. He's in Japan again. And I'm gonna find out where he's at. And, Foggy asks, and then what? What are you gonna do after you find out where he's at? You're gonna try and go fight him? And Deku's like, yeah, I am. And Foggy telling him, you're not thinking things through. He killed your dad. He killed DareDevil. And you're gonna give him another Daredevil to kill? No, not happening. I couldn't talk Matt out of it, but I am not going to go through that with you. I'm not gonna bury another devil at all. And Foggy's like, I have no idea how you found out that Wilson Fisk is back in Japan, because I've been on his case this entire time. Ever since he stepped foot in Japan, I have been trying to get him arrested and deported right back out of here. And that's taking time. I understand. You're angry. You hate the man. He killed your father. I understand that. And Deku's like, no, you don't understand. You don't know what it's like to not grow up with a father. You don't know what it's like to have your mother abandon you because you look like your father. You don't know what it's like having this rage inside of you, having people just abandon you, give up on you. You don't know what that feels like. And Foggy, he can't help it. He's just losing it. He's like, yes, I fucking do. I watched your father go through that shit time and time again. I know exactly what it looks like. I know how it feels. And gosh damn it, I am not gonna let that happen to you. I'm here. I'm raising you. You are my son, and I am not going to bury my son. End of story. And Deku's left speechless. He doesn't know what to say back. And Foggy, he's fucking in tears. Like, he was so mad and hurt by Deku's comments that it really got to him. And Karen, she's sitting down with Deku. She's cleaning up his wounds, giving him stitches. And she's just like, look, your dad didn't make things easy on us. He pushed us to a distance. He never let us help. He would never listen to us. And all the way up to the point that got him killed. And I don't want that happening to you. Foggy doesn't want that happening to you. He took you in out of the goodness of his heart. He's loved you and he's raised you for 10 years now. And you're still thinking that way? And Deku's like, abandonment isn't something I can just get over. It's hardwired in. And you don't know what this rage feels like inside. You don't know what it's like having something crawling at your skin inside of you, having something burning in you, this desire to just scream and hit things, to hit it until it can't move anymore, to just fight, and protect people. You don't know that feeling. No one that I talk to knows that feeling, except for one person, and he knows that well. Karen, she's looking concerned, and she's like, who is that one person? Deku looks at her straight in the eyes and he says, Brent Castle. He's been helping me. He's been training me. More than Stick and more than Electra. He's taught me tactics, skills, hand-to-hand combat, all of that. He's taught me a lot more and a lot harder. And Karen's like, you shouldn't become too associated with him. He's gonna turn you into a killer. Don't dishonor the Daredevil name by becoming a killer. And Daredevil, she says Daredevil was a hero for the people that couldn't fight back themselves. Back when he was in America, people called him the Devil of Hell's Kitchen. He loved that city more than anything. I was surprised as all hell when he decided to move to Japan. And, he told me he found a woman he really loved and fell in love with her there. And that she was expecting. You took away Hell Kitchen's devil. And Japan gained the Devil of Hell's Kitchen and killed it. I will never, ever understand why your dad went and fought the Kingpin the way he did. It was uncharacteristically of him, and he's gone now, but he's still got you here. You're his legacy. If you're gonna inherit this name, if you're gonna wear that symbol out there, then you need to start living up to it. If you want to be your own type of devil, that's fine. but don't call yourself Daredevil. When you call yourself Daredevil, that comes with the weight and responsibility of all the actions your father did. And that's something that just can't be seen as a token act. And I'm not gonna let you become Daredevil if you're just gonna tear it down and be a Punisher instead. And Deku's like, look, I understand you knew my dad, but Daredevil is my legacy. It's who I will become. And I'll determine what that name means in the present time here and now. And she's just like, I at least thought that you would have at least cared enough about your own dad's legacy to not disrespect it. And Deku's like, to not disrespect it. He chose that fucking legacy over me. He chose to go and fight and die by that fat fuck's hands instead of staying at home and raising his own son and making sure his own wife didn't go off the damn deep end and abandon her own child. So I don't want to hear anything about respect for Daredevil's legacy. I'm the new Daredevil. I'm gonna do what I want to with the name. And that is that. And he just slams the door on her face. And Karen's just like, just shocked. She's in shock. And Foggy's like, yeah, that was a sore topic to bring up with him. He really doesn't give a damn about the legacy of Daredevil. And I don't think he ever will. He sees it as, his dad abandoning him. And, Karen tells him, what do you mean by having something inside of him that was crawling? And, Foggy looks at her and is like, really? That's his way of saying he's letting the devil out. And Karen is just shaking her head. But, Deku, he gets his acceptance letter in the mail. And, this, not from All Might this time. And, it's from a hero he's never even seen before. But he does recognize the name. Iron Fist. And, tells Deku's letter is like, hey, congratulations on getting in. Drop by UA for a quick tour. And let's have a chat while we're at it. And Deku, he plays that in front of Foggy, and Foggy's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Go meet him. And, Deku does it. He goes to UA, and right when he gets to the gates, he sees a man in a yellow mask, a green leotard-esque outfit with a giant black dragon tattooed on his chest. And he looks down at the dude's feet and sees he's wearing fucking ballet shoes. He's like, I take it you're Iron Fist? And Iron Fist is like, yep, that's me. And he's like, what is that outfit you're even wearing? And, he's looking at Deku. He's like, well, each just wearing a shirt, some sweats, and a hood, attacking criminals all over the city. Deku's just like, you know about that, huh? And, Iron Fist is like, yeah, I also know you've been hanging around the Punisher. You know he's a wanted man, right? Deku's just like, no, I actually did not know that. Doesn't surprise me. And he's just like, whatever. That's neither here nor there, and that's not why I called you here. And, he's just looking at Deku and he's like, be honest with me. Who is your dad? And Deku tells him, DareDevil. Iron Fist is like, I knew it. Ever since I saw the way you fought, I knew you had to be Matt's son. And he invites Deku into UA, they go into an office. And Iron Fist, he takes off his mask. He combs back his blonde hair and he's just sitting there and he's just like, alright, listen, I'm gonna be upfront with you. I called in 2 other people to come and see you. And we have a present for you. And, Deku's just like, okay. He's like, they'll be here in a few minutes. Until then, let's, drink some tea and talk a bit. And Deku's like, what do you want to talk about? Danny's just telling him, look, my name is Danny Rand. And, you're probably going to hear this, but I'm going to be teaching here, sometimes throughout the year. But, now that I know you're here and you're in, I've decided to make it a full-time position here so I can train you. I'm leaving the defenders to come here and make you a better Daredevil. And Deku's just like, don't go off about his legacy. Iron Fist tells him, what? No. What Matt did was great and all, but you're Daredevil now. Or you soon will be. And what comes with being a hero, an identity that's already pre-established is you can't be them. If you keep trying to be Matt, it'll just tear you apart and you'll end up exactly like him. You're gonna have to be your own Daredevil. You're gonna have to be a better Daredevil. Deku, he's hearing those words and he honestly feels like, Danny gets him. And, he tells him, you're right. I do. And at that time, they hear a knock on the door, and Iron Fist's like, okay, yeah, come on in. He opens, the door opens, and Deku sees this big, tall dude, he's tall, wearing a yellow shirt, blue jean pants, has a fucking huge ass belt buckle that says Cage on it. And then he sees this woman walking in behind, just wearing, boots, skinny jeans, a purple shirt, and a black jacket. He's looking at him and he's like, who are they? And, the man speaks up and he's like, hey, my name is Luke Cage, and this is my wife, Jessica Cage. And, Jessica, she speaks up as like formerly Jessica Jones. And they look at Danny and it's like, is he actually? And Danny's like, yeah, that's Matt's son, Izuku Midoriya. And, you know, little Kate, she speaks up, he's like, Midoriya, hey, didn't you ever think about, changing your last name to Murdoch? Deku's like, my dad didn't want me to have that last name. I'm not gonna change it. He's like, besides, if I was gonna change it to anything, it'd be Nelson. And, Luke is kind of confused. He's like, oh, Foggy's the one raising you, isn't he? And Deku's just like, yeah, you've been a good dad. I just haven't been the best son. And Jessica's like, look, don't beat yourself up over it. You're a kid, you're gonna rebel, and what's more, you have no fucking clue what's going on or what you're doing. And, Cage is like, but on that note, this will at least make it less suspicious of you running around on rooftops through alleys at night beating people up if you had a proper hero outfit. They hand him a box and Deku opens it up and it reveals like it's a DareDevil suit. Pure red with the DareDevil insignia on the chest. He's just like, this is incredible. I don't know what to say. And the suit basically looks like what you're seeing on screen right now. And Luke Cage's like, hey, don't worry about it. This was your dad's first suit. We just modified it a bit more to fit you. And Deku, he's just like, thank you again. And he puts it on. And everyone in the room is just amazed by how good of a fit it actually is on him. I say, yeah, now you're DareDevil. And that's where I'm going to be leaving it off for tonight. I just want to thank you guys for, continuing to support the channel and, the feedback on the videos. It does help out a lot. I know that I said I was going to be doing like the Shiro Emiya part 14 tonight, but change of plans. I wasn't really feeling it today, and so I hope you guys enjoyed the double DareDevil upload today. I've just been going on with some personal stuff, so I hope you guys like it. If you did, leave me a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you guys later.